Hello and welcome. Good afternoon to the final match of the day. I'm Tom Battinger, and I'm gratefully joined here by Anatoly Alexeyenok. We've looked at PlayStation, both North America and Europe, and we've looked at Xbox on Europe. Now, it's time to get ready for the big match. Hype Unit versus One Night at LAN here, North American Xbox style, and this is what the league looks like right now.
An interesting tale between these two teams. Opposite ends of the spectrum. One team trying to qualify to MSI, very close to Heat Uprise, whereas One Night at LAN not going to be able to make it, but could play spoiler today.
They're here to try and see what they can do to bring Hype Unit down. If One Night at LAN takes this victory, then Heat Uprise will certainly be in a much nicer position to look towards the summer. And that alone can kind of make the games exciting for some of these teams that are outside of the winnings. You were talking about playing spoiler. That's exciting.
Yeah. And the only victory that One Night at LAN actually was against Hype Unit way back in week number 2. There's been several weeks since then, so we'll see if that meta still favors One Night at LAN.
It's been a while since we saw One Night at LAN get their victory here, but the team still plays real well. We've seen aggression out of these guys to kind of bring home that victory that they got a number of weeks ago. And although that they haven't brought home wins lately, what is it about this team that you think could help them?
I think it's between the middle lane and also the jungler. J-Pro is going to be an important factor to try to make the plays happen, whereas Soul Reaper in that mid position needs to step it up. Their synergy has been showing from time to time. It's been a little wishy-washy, but when they do play well, you can see their synergy.
It's certainly been a big point to watch what J-Pro's been able to do. He's made some good plays when he's not on the chalk, and the Bakasura certainly has worked out for him here. As you can see, that was their victory against Hype Unit last time around, so a nice look there, and potentially a repeat.
They need to do something really wild, throw some curveballs at Hype Unit to find the victory today. Hype Unit very close to Heat Uprise. They need to play solid. More pressure on Hype Unit.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, anytime you're the top card, you're not really supposed to drop or make mistakes here, and it's hard to not make mistakes, just putting that out there. Not just SMITE, but life in general.
No, it's perfect.
Exactly. Yeah. And so Hype Unit, this is an uphill battle for them in their mind. This should be a simple game of SMITE, but there's a lot of the line if they do lose, and that can kind of dog at you.
Especially when you are the defending champions, such as these players are, with the exception of Inbowned, replacing Chapo from that World Championship team. There's still a lot of synergy in that support role, loving to play aggressive, unorthodox warriors from time to time on the Nike, something that we've actually haven't seen in any kind of league.
Yeah, support Nike, never going to be my favorite, but hey man, if you're winning games with it, what can I complain about? oBoronic here with the World Champion tag. He's been just lights out every single time this team comes out. What more can you say? I mean, oBoronic has just been the guy to watch here on North American Xbox.
The MVP from that World Championship team, really showing off his stuff. Still in Season 6, still an absolute beast.
It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. That's what it is watching Hype Unit. They just come out, they play unconventional things, they play oddly, but they win. They play successfully. And that's been the core of what Hype Unit has really enabled and why they've got such a big fan base.
And also their diversity between that solo role, Wolves getting respect, Odin bans when we haven't seen Odin, I think, the entire Season 6 in console or in the minor pro league.
Yeah, it's an exciting world right now when you watch Hype Unit versus One Night at LAN. And so as we get ready for game number 1, I'm really eager to see where these guys go with their draft. So let's do it. Picks and bans, please, here for One Night at LAN, and we'll see which direction they go. They have the first pick and, of course, the first ban.
Gonna have a throwaway ban more than likely, wanting to leave. Probably there are Arthurian Pantheon gods available, and there it is. That's a throwaway ban.
Is it? Najah's a dominating character.
It's not necessarily a throwaway ban in the sense that, you know, Hype Unit is not going to play it. It's more about, like, you're going to want to leave Merlin open, Arthur, Achilles, Xbalanque. Like, those are your top 4 picks, I would say, currently in week number 10 of the console world. So you leave those 4 open, you're guaranteed at least 1. And that's why Hype Unit don't ban away one of those 4 because they want to leave that open, so that's why they go for the Artio.
Well, One Night at LAN are going to ban out the Merlin, who is a member of the Arthurian Pantheon, so not quite the strategy we'll see here today. Instead, the Merlin and the Naja banned out at first, and then the Yanis and the Artio banned out at second. King Arthur is available. Is he the #1 selection overall, must-all, be-all? I don't think so, and neither does One Night at LAN. Xbalanque will be the choice here. Cutting off communication, never a bad look.
Just very loud noises being thrown everywhere during that ultimate, especially turning on the blinder. It's hard to see through it. A little bit of global pressure now to respond by Hype Unit.
I like the Jormungandr. I think that this pick has been able to kind of get behind enemy lines. He's been really powerful. We've seen him even played in the middle lane to great success. So you can do a lot. You talk about being malleable, being variable, being different. Jormungandr can do just that. And here, Achilles. I think this guy is the first pick at the moment. Achilles taken here by Hype Unit.
He's solid, being able to go into the shirtless passive for extra movement speed, extra physical powers, where he shows a lot of success, being able to out-rotate his opposition. But with Achilles locked in, the next go-to soul laner of choice is going to be the Bellona. Very difficult to really lock her down. She has a lot of sustain with that Scourge. Very difficult to also contest her with a Totem of Coup objective.
Ganesh is going to come through. A lot of players have really talked about this one. Ganesh is just so incredibly powerful, and I think he's been under the radar for a while. Not only does he cut down on some of the chain characters or some of the ability spammers or even some of the channel characters, what he does is most impressively perhaps is he allows you to play multiple sides of the team fight. And so because of that, One Night at LAN is going to have a really strong situation there. Freya, just powerful, chosen by Hype Unit. But I got to be honest with you. On the side of Hype Unit, Toli, I see just 3 really powerful picks. On the side of One Night at LAN, I see a devastating team fight.
I definitely see the same thing you're seeing here, F-Dot, on Hype Unit. It's hard to also pinpoint where this Jormungandr or Achilles is going to go. I'm personally expecting it to be Jormungandr solo lane for Wolves. Achilles probably for Inbound, although it could also be played for layers in the jungle. Not super popular as of recent, but has its merits.
You could put Freya in the mid, put Jormungandr in support, and Achilles in solo. You could have Freya jungle and Jorm mid. You could do a lot of different things right now. So I'm not putting my money anywhere. Hype Unit with Freya means that we will go to the second round of bans. They say no to the Arlong Shen and the Zeus, and the Doggo will be banned alongside Khepri, who has seen a lot of play. After that, Odin will be the choice here, and an Odin on Hype Unit, that it's Wolves.
It has to be Wolves. I'll be surprised if it's anyone but Wolves, and this is something that's normally banned against Hype Unit for this reason. And I think we're going to see a very powerful demonstration as to why you should ban the Odin against Wolves.
I hope so. Watching Wolves as Odin has been one of the highlights of the console side of things for my entire commentating career, and I've been here since day one of the console side of things. So watching Wolves on the Odin, this is a treat, and I'm excited. He will be going up against Thor in the jungle, Discordia in the mid lane, Ganesh and Xbalanque on the long side, and Bellona on the short side. Hype Unit will put their mid laner as an Isis. So, again, ambiguity. I think we'll see Isis mid, Freya, Jorm, Achilles jungle, Odin solo.
I could see that. Layers, you never really know. He's like very spicy compared to the rest of Hype Unit as well. So I'm not going to put my money on it either.
Let's get to spice. Game number 1, Hype Unit. One Night at LAN. Let's go.
Let's move into the action. Finch here joined by Ryan Aggro Bailey as we move into our final set of the day. But it's the first game we could be in for 3 games of SMITE. Though to be fair, it's highly unlikely. Hype Unit, the heavy favorites here. The last time these two, air quotes, played, Hype Unit overslept. The game never actually happened. One Night at LAN just ended up winning off the DC. So we'll see how they do heads up here.
You may have heard me sigh. And it's because even when you have Wolves, his best god
is Odin
on your roster, Inbound's refusal to play anything found in the Guardian tab continues. This is, what, 5-6 weeks in a row at least that he hasn't played a Guardian yet. They had one. It could have been Jormungandr. I was like, there's no way they don't give Wolves Odin. Right?
He's so good on it.
And look, Wolves has played great on the Jormungandr. I've got no problem with that.
I think it was our first one to flex the Diamond Jorm, if I do remember correctly. So it's certainly something we can play. Now, I'll make sure I clarify it. Not the last time they played. That one time, one night at LAN won. I want to clarify why that win happened. It was a DC. But yes, you're right. Inbound, I don't know. Feels almost like a personal challenge to himself to never play a regular old Guardian.
Yes, that's the way it feels to me as well. Challenge over here on the right side to the blue buff. There's a nice double stun from Layers. Sets them up for some success. This is farm that Layers is losing by sticking around here,
right.
Whereas StRyDEr is around the map. He's already level 2 and is getting even more farm now in the mid lane.
Yeah, well, they're not doing the split right. Usually it's TG, the support would be here, so it should be inbound, but they've brought Layers over to try and make up for the fact that it's a 2v1. So even if TGV is wasting time on the Ganesh, that's not nearly as impactful as if StRyDEr were wasting his time. And I like that he's mixed in his caps, by the way. It's very SpongeBob voice, the way StRyDEr has done it.
Oh, it's StRyDEr. That's just kind of the way it's going to be, I guess, if you're going to spell your name that way. That's right.
Yeah.
Also, that's Mr. TGV to you.
Nah.
It isn't.
No. I feel like that. So like, there's maybe one or two types of argument you've taken from me, and then willingness to just say nah is one I'm definitely taking from you.
Yeah, that's a good one. It really is undefeated. That's the thing about it, is there's really no good counter argument to it.
It's like the kid who picks up his ball and leaves, so you can't lose at Foursquare now, right? 'Cause
Right.
you left with the ball.
Right. I just had to go. It had nothing to do with my performance in that game or not.
Well, look, it's why Freya's good in a nutshell. Just if you want to know why Freya's being picked, literally that. She'll clear the wave before you, she'll banish you, step up to you, and then auto attack you through the wave, and you'll be like, man, sure wish I were Freya, and you aren't.
It's always an unlucky moment when you realize that you indeed are not Freya in that exact minute. I'm surprised that Not a Pen has gone for the Boots 1 start. I know it's popular to rush the Boots right now in the dual lane. I mean, he's not a pen, man. What do you want from him? Like, he's clearly not. We don't know these players, right? One Night at LAN.
Yeah, but you're not a lot of stuff. He's not a hat either.
Well, that's not his name. So, like, maybe he is. He hasn't rolled it out for me.
That's right. It's still up in the air. Inbound could be in some trouble here as well, as there's 4 members of One Night at LAN nearby. He makes his escape. Layers there on the backside's enough, and the blue buff succeeded in being secured by One Night at LAN. That seemed like a gank from One Night at LAN, but that was a cavalry squad just to secure their own farm.
But that's worthwhile. I mean, it's better than giving it up to Hype Unit on that side of the map. Keep oGryph at an even point so far with Not a Pen. Those two pretty close in XP per minute.
So Gryph could be a pen.
No, he came to LAN. I know that he's not a pen.
Okay,
I met him. Yeah, but like I don't know Not a Pen. He could have been up until this very moment.
Well,
he
now,
could be that paperclip from Microsoft Office that
Right.
like gave us hints. That could be him. I don't know.
well, that guy's not a pen, so yeah, that's literally all.
It's
I
on the
know
table.
about him. Yeah, it's definitely an option. Inbound going to back, no longer looking for more aggression here in the dual lane. They'll fall back. This is a tough matchup for One Night at LAN. I'll just be honest about this one. You know, call it a club, whatever the expression is.
It's a spade, a spade.
Yeah, well, okay. I like clubs
I was trying to help.
of all kinds. So,
Go on.
Yeah.
Don't let me derail you.
No, not at all. I would never let that happen. So this is a big match for Hype Unit, right? They're the ones who have to get this W. In all honesty, little changes for One Night at LAN, either direction that this goes. So there's a certain
Right.
level of freedom they can play with. It's Hype Unit that have to grab this win because Heat Uprise are right there on them and not making life easy at all. If you're One Night at LAN, I mean, this is house money.
Pitbull not going to get that back off.
Timber?
Not on that one. Wolves going to go for number 3 here potentially. Misses that one as well. That's with no boots for Pitbull, but that should have been enough time for his one to come back up.
There we go.
And there's the first blood. Wolves. Could he have done that with Odin? Yes.
Probably faster, as unfortunately StRyDEr Prime can't get much more done there, or StRyDEr can't get much more done there on the Thor. So
I think we only do that if he misses. He hit. So
he
like,
did hit. Okay, so that's only if he misses.
Right. It's yeah.
Excuse me for not knowing the rules.
I mean, I'm just trying to establish it early. This is a 3-game set, Finch. I mean, we've got time. That's 3.
Right.
May as
This
well
could
set the rules
certainly
early.
go all 3. Just not a pen. I almost called him just a pen, which would be very wrong. Not a pen is certainly
It's the
in some
one
trouble.
rule.
Yeah, it's the one thing I know for sure he isn't. You know, is a pen.
I
Just a pen's as wrong as possible.
Right, exactly. Look, Inbound has not gotten a chance to get his cage yet, but now he has it. now it is level 5. I do like the Odin pick against the Xbalanque, but otherwise, it's not particularly exciting. I mean, Inbound's going to have to wait for that erratic behavior from Soul Reaper in order to cage him.
Right.
The dash from Mr. TGV. StRyDEr is going to have to use the hammer. I mean, there's a lot of things that have to be down if you want to get a massive cage here. And for that reason, I don't mind the lack of Phantom here from Mr. TGV.
It almost feels like because you wouldn't get nearly as much Odin cage value early on, why bring it over here and not just give it to, like, maybe, say, Wolves or something, right?
I concur. I still think that's the better call.
I think I'm with you on that one.
But
glad I came up with it.
But remember, Jormungandr is a Guardian. So Hype Unit's not going to play him support.
Yeah, why wouldn't it? It doesn't make any sense.
And look, they've had a lot of success, so I mean, I can't be hating on it too much. It's certainly been working for Hype Unit, but this is definitely the style that they've gone for. Early aggression out of the support role.
Right.
And now that Inbound's hit level 5, I imagine Mr. Or not a pen, excuse me, is going to be under some siege pretty soon.
Well, it's Layers who's coming in here first. They got the dash on cooldown, but I imagine he really wants those beads. Can't quite get it. Ultimate comes out from Not a Pen defensively, and he'll take the back after his hand was forced. But this is a great time to come over. Maybe the beads and dash will still be up, but there won't be an ultimate to keep him alive. Blink in there and drop the cage. See if maybe they can punish him. Though it looks like StRyDEr, just trying to do these back harpies, might not have that easy of a time.
No, this is classic Inbound. Just in your face, on your back harpies. You're like, it's 7 minutes, man. What am I supposed to do? But it's an Odin that can afford to out-trade you. And that's why Inbound has been so high on non-Guardian supports. Guardians don't out-trade you at level 6 at your back camps. Assassins and Warriors usually do up against these Assassins. That's why we've seen Inbound play this way.
Well, formalities aside, Mr. TGV might be in some trouble. A good dash allows him to reposition. Inbound knows the cage can't do much in a situation where he still has that dash and he doesn't drop it. But that's a great combination. Dharmic Pillars right on top of the ult. That was sick. And Bobby goes down. Mr. TGV in some trouble too, though, but up into the air goes
Clean.
Gryph. Can't quite lock him down, and he's out.
Beautifully done by One Night at
really
LAN. Now StRyDEr might keep it going. See the teleport forward. Good root onto Layers, and StRyDEr's going to find another kill for One Night at LAN. Great fight there for them.
Got no choice but to put some respect on his name. The wall does connect, forces Gryph to use the beads. He manages to make it back out of there. Had to be liberal with the beads usage without the ultimate, but they're still nearby. StRyDEr Prime clearing away their purple buff. But with Inbound making the rotation, I think Gryph should now be okay.
Inbound's here and still has that blink cage available. He never got a chance to get that off because of great Dharmic Pillars from Mr. GTV right on where Inbound was once StRyDEr stunned him. And then a silence right after the fact made sure that he couldn't cast that ultimate at any point.
Inbound, though, with the quarterback mentality, immediately comes for Not a Pen and locks him down in the cage. He is able to get some pressure, but not steal the buff. Not a Pen able to pick that one up. But I like that he's undeterred, man. You got to play Odin aggressively, even if you take a spill. Get right back in there and try and cause some more problems.
If I was in a what-if scenario where my support or any player was 0-7, but I really needed them to initiate, Inbound would be #1 on my list of people I would trust to go in without hesitation. My man does not. His thumbstick doesn't go backwards. It only goes forwards.
Not only that, but he's like bragging. He's like, they waste all 7 kills on me. Yeah, this is free for us here.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Right?
Like they're so dumb for killing me this many times. I'm not even worth it.
Yeah.
That is definitely Inbound's mentality, and it served him very well because he has games where he goes 0-7, and that's kind of what his team needs him to do. Sometimes he does it, and that's not what his team needed him to do, but he's still going to attempt to make the impact as the game goes on and fulfill his role. He's very good at that.
Despite being down in kills, these buff invades have proved fruitful. Spirit Ball right in the circle of protection's a potent combo, but StRyDEr answers back. Inbound takes another seat, but Layers with the execute sends TGV back to base. Mr. or no, executes there, but off the mark. But StRyDEr should still be dead. A good banish certainly spells his end.
Great fight from Layers, and that time the Dharmic Pillars not nearly as good for One Night at LAN. They actually body blocked Not a Pen's dash and made it impossible for him to get out of range, but really that fight goes well just because oBoronic finds a sick 2-man Spirit Ball over the wall, understands it's going to hit, drops Circle of Protection preemptively in order to get that extra boost of damage and healing there for Inbound. Beautifully done by oBoronic.
Well played by Hype Unit. To continue the pressure on the red buff, too, I love that they've come in with this clear plan on what their point of attack is. use Inbound, use layers, use these warriors in the early game exactly where they can feel so strong to repeatedly keep One Night at LAN down. Now stealing the purple buff as well. Life gets harder when you're not a pen, apparently, as One Night at LAN a few options.
Do you think he's one of those really thick graphite pencils that you look at the writing and you're like, was that a pen? No, I'm a pencil.
Not a pen, no.
And I'm a pencil, like may have been taken or something like that. So just not a pen kind of gets the job done.
Okay, so we're just coming up with scenarios where the name could come from. Like, you have to go, hey, do you have anything I can write with? And he goes, well, not a pen. Like, maybe
But how
he's
is
like,
that? How do I identify with that?
What do you
as a-
mean?
Like me, that like, oh, I guess I say not a pen. You say not a pen, then I go me AF or like big
Right.
mood.
Yeah, that's really, yeah, that's me right all over, yeah. I feel personally attacked by the fact that he does not have a pen. Yeah.
Right. Okay. We're getting closer, and it's only game one.
That's right, we've got plenty of time to really hone this one in.
This
StRyDEr
bit
PR1mE
is going to
takes
keep on going.
quite a bit of damage from layers in the jungle. Gets away, though. Recognizes he can't exactly take that fight right now. I love that these Talaria boots have just become more common. It's the pickup now. Whatever some people that I like to play Smite with say and argue about, these are good.
They're very good.
Yeah.
Not good is that cage. His Inbound was looking for Mr. TGV, but remember, he can dash out. Inbound taking a good chunk of damage, and down comes StRyDEr, but Inbound still there. Spirit Ball just off the mark. His layers on the receiving end of the apple, but no one from Hype Unit dies.
That might have been good work. I'm worried that Apple was meant for Inbound and layers kind of intercepted it. So good job from him. The Jormungandr, though, pressuring out the Bologna. We don't see this a lot. The Jormungandr, you don't necessarily pick to be a beast right now, but that's just what Wolves does, I imagine, man. He gets you pressure when you might not have otherwise had it, and he's keeping this Bologna down, who went reinforced Greaves as the first item. We don't see it a lot, but anyone who has a bunch of ticks of damage, Greaves are probably good in that match.
Yeah, exactly. Good against the Jorm Breath. It's not a pen. Straight out of the oven and into the fire. Layers right there to clean him up.
Why oven?
Well, he was getting cooked, and then he came out of the oven and then got flambéed.
It's a frying pan.
Well, he could be in the oven too.
They both cook.
Look,
as
I cast it with
TGV
Tully
goes down.
earlier. Like, he always has his own sort of spin on those phrases. I just kind of adopted that one.
Yeah, and
But it's
Tully
my
likes
fault.
to cook with ovens too. That's just correct. He's an oven cooker. He's told me before, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he's as much stovetop as like oven.
Okay. I think I'm more stovetop.
Yeah, oven is superior because you can get in more chess matches in between while it cooks in the
Smart.
oven. So I get why he's doing it. Soul Reaper, though, says hello to layers. That's insane. The turnaround, a little bit of help coming up from oBoronic, makes it 1-for-1. Gold Fury goes down as well, and Hype Unit slowly but surely starting to pull away. 4,200 gold, 5,000 experience. Getting tougher and tougher for One Night at LAN to hang.
Wolves level 15 just says, yeah, these are mine now. And StRyDER's like, man, I really wanted those. Not a whole lot that he can say about it, though. I mean, 5 levels above that opposition there was Wolves. Maybe it's a 20 questions thing. Like next week, it'll be not an elephant.
Right.
We'll be like, oh, okay, one closer.
Who asks then? I wonder who is asking, because I'd like
Well,
is it
why don't-
alive? Is that what it is? Like,
Okay.
you know what I mean? I should be able to push in the questions.
Well, I assume because it's not a pen, that one of the previous questions would push us towards a pen in some way.
Right, so probably
So I'm gonna go,
inanimate objects,
maybe-
probably small.
Yeah, something like that. Is it a
Later,
stapler?
We know it's not a pen, as in comes StRyDEr Prime. Can't quite hit home until he'll use the hammer to disengage. Someone's got to come help Pitbull, though. Hasn't put out a hit record in years. And the solo lane's not going that well either. Spirit Ball buries StRyDEr Prime. And Hype Unit continue to do whatever they want.
Now I know why Wolves got the Jormungandr. Pitbull's Mr. Worldwide, so you need the World Serpent in order to keep up. My man got counterpicks. Like, there's
Yeah,
nothing
that's
he could have
rough.
done.
Yeah. How are you supposed to win that one, you know? No chance.
Unlucky.
I appreciate Pitbull's effort, though. Both the musician and this Bologna, they both go all in.
They do. Yeah. There's Bologna's kind of doing the same thing every game, right?
Not unlike Pitbull.
Not unlike Pitbull, who's
Right.
doing the same thing every song.
Right.
It's just with Bologna, it's disarming you and using my ultimate to be a good escape tool or initiator, just being kind of flexible and being able to team fight pretty well. Whereas Pitbull, on the other hand, every song.
Gets more talented artists onto the track with him, so it sounds like he makes the music. Yeah.
Wait, what if that's actually Pitbull and we're like being toxic to the singer?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as we're on the same page.
I mean, we don't know for sure, but on the off chance it is, hey, Pitbull, I think you're, you know,
Rich.
mediocre. Yeah.
I think you're
dummy
rich.
Yeah.
Just default to something that is unequivocally true.
Right. That's not bad though. I would like to be as average at something and make as much money as Pitbull. You know what I mean?
Hard retweet on that.
That's not bad at all.
Because then you don't have the pressure, right? of like continuing to stay really good.
Right.
And everyone who comes at you like, yo, you're bad at your job, you're like, cool, I make more than you.
Exactly. Put on some glasses that are worth my annual salary and walk away. I imagine.
Which is what we do here at Skillshot, of course. Put on.
Yeah, we put on glasses.
We put on the glasses.
Yeah. Where do you want to see Hype Unit go next here? The Fury's down for now. Are they waiting for that? Should they start something at Pyro?
Yeah, the awkward thing about this composition is that it doesn't push towers well.
Sure.
You've got a Freya. Achilles pushes well, especially with the Hydras, so he can end up doing a lot of your tower damage for you. You also have Inbound there on the Odins, so he'll do more than a traditional Guardian would. But overall, in a situation like this, you see teams group up, start to shove down towers, and get more global gold that way. And that's not as much of an option here for Hype Unit. I think objectives are the way to go with the Circle of Protection.
Exactly right. That'll be pretty darn good confirm once they get that down. But in
Hello.
comes StRyDEr Prime right into the back line, but he gets blown up layers, says hello, gives him a wave, and sends him back to base. SoulReaper wants to come in as well, but Gryph has already gotten rid of TGV. He has no friends all of a sudden. SoulReaper uses the Aegis, but the damage comes in too consistently, and Gryph puts him down. A well-executed bait from Hype Unit, and they get the execute too. 4 for 0. Hype Unit keep rolling.
Man, that was such a good fight for one night at LAN. I mean, they do a lot really, really well there.
I agree.
StRyDEr Prime has hit every ult he's thrown out. He's been very good on this Thor. The problem is, he's just level 12. He just hasn't been able to farm consistently enough to stay relevant in this game. He finds a really big dunk, does a lot of damage. Mr. TGV is right there to follow up. But as soon as that Dharmic Pillars gets dropped, Mr. TGV needs to turn around and look at where SoulReaper is in order to try and help him. SoulReaper again goes a little bit too far forward trying to find an ultimate, which he does, but is on Inbound, who only gains power every time he dies, so that's not really what you want. I'm talking about Inbound the person, not necessarily the god that he's playing. He just kind of thrives in those environments where he's getting focused. So if that was a 2K lead, one night at LAN would have just mopped Hype Unit.
Right.
But because that's a 6K lead at the time, it was Hype Unit's fight.
Spirit Ball doesn't quite land, and TGV has to fall back. At this point, is it worth StRyDEr Prime maybe trying to build into pretensions? I mean, is he going to make it to the point where he can do enough damage? I mean, he's landing the control, it's all there, but the nanosecond that the CC chain is up, he's evaporating. And layers can turn around on him, oBoronic can turn around on him, he gets blown up. I just don't know if he'll make it to the point where his damage is relevant.
I just don't think that even if he starts building defense at this point, that will be relevant either. Because the rate at which he's building defense is slower than the rate at which Hype Unit's building offense. And so he'll never be able to cap over that. And so at this point, I agree with him just kind of building damage. And let's hope that I can trade a relic, get a kill later on in the fight, you know, in an extended engagement, someone will get caught out. That's a lot of times picking someone is the best way to stop a lead, you know, to stem the bleeding almost. And so Thor does that pretty well. I think that's kind of the option he's looking at.
Another thing that's really important is that it looks like Gryph and Wolves have their relics in the wrong spot.
What do you mean?
Not their relics, excuse me, their blessings.
Oh, their blessings.
Yes.
Yeah, that's because they're bad humans.
Okay, good. Just wanted to confirm that that's
that's what that means. Buy your blessing first.
Yeah. No reason not to. There's tons of reasons to do it. It makes you a better person. It's the right thing to do. It just looks better.
I like you more if you do it.
Right. I can think of no good reason not to.
Maybe they're left-footed. So having the boots in the left more spot helps.
Which foot are you, Aggro?
I'm left-handed, but I'm right-footed.
What does that mean?
Okay, stand up right now.
Okay.
I'm going to pretend to roll a kickball at you.
I'm going to kick with my right foot for sure.
You're right-footed.
Oh, is that what that means?
Yeah.
Okay.
I kick with my right foot.
I'm right-footed. I don't know.
Graham would have been all about that. In football and soccer, you got to have a foot preference, right? I mean,
Is
you have
that
to be good
true?
with both, but you have to have a foot preference.
Well, you use the foot that's like at the best angle, I imagine.
Well, yeah, the best ones do, but everyone has a preference.
Well, up into the air goes StRyDEr Prime. His preference is for the back line, but he can't quite make it. Spirit Ball lands, but Aegis immunes the damage. He's still standing tall for now, but can he reposition? The cage causes too many problems. Not a pin goes down first, but Layers not to be outdone. Sends Prime back to go join his friends. Just 3 still left to try and defend up against Hype Unit, and they want this tier 2.
A passing Jormungandr in the background is...
That's good luck.
Wolves. What is he, a ho-oh?
Right, yeah. You see a legendary Jormungandr, and that's good luck.
That's a diamond. He's not using a legendary skill.
Good point as TGB dashed in bravely. But it'll be Pitbull who comes in looking for the backline oBoronic, but can't get him. Now the CC chain begins, and he's execute for Layers.
That reminds me of when Pitbull did that contest on... it was like based on votes on the internet. He'd go to a Walmart and do a free concert, and the internet forced him to go to an Alaskan Walmart and do his concert there. That's kind of just what happened.
Yeah, the internet's kind of like that.
They're real mean.
If there's an opportunity to troll you, the internet won't let it pass by.
He thought he was going to like a cool like charity thing that he was doing, but then he had to fly all the way to Alaska. And I was like, oh.
Well, I imagine that it was still a charity.
Well, yeah, but it's like Alaska.
Yeah. Okay. Is Nova Scotia in Canada?
Yes.
I think so, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Geography, I'm not as... Some people are really bad at geography.
I'm real bad, yeah.
But
I don't know the states around us.
Oh, come
like
on.
Florida for sure,
Uh-huh.
and Alabama,
Uh-huh.
and that's, yeah, that's good.
There are 2 states, now I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there are 2 states that are touching us to the north.
South Carolina, I bet.
Yeah, that's one of them.
And I got nothing else on that list.
That's Tennessee.
Tennessee. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's crazy. In Europe, they know them all. They're just like a bunch of smaller states, you know?
Yeah.
And it feels like there's more to remember. But they know
Definitely,
all of them.
because they are
It's
like
insane.
states have flags. By the way, Hype Unit's doing Fire Giant. No
Yeah,
one
that's
knows.
going down for sure.
States have flags. They like aren't that big of a deal. Like, I don't know what Georgia's state flag looks like. At
Yeah,
all.
I bet I could pick
I
it
know.
out.
I know what Maryland's looks like because it's really ugly, and they put it on everything. At the University of Maryland, it's just
Right.
it's hideous. It's got like checkers and non-checkers. It's like what's going on there in Maryland? That's what I gotta say.
So is the flags what helps them remember the countries?
Well, it's like flags, much more like national pride than state pride.
I imagine that's stronger.
Language barriers are more a thing. I would argue that the South does have a language barrier, but it's not as bad.
Yeah, we speak proper English, good and proper down here as the Phoenix
Okay.
comes under siege. But a good wall to try and cut the fight off, but immediately a cage is that much better. Pitbull now in trouble, so is TGB. He has no way out without the dash, and into the ultimate goes Wolves, come crashing into the back line. But still the Phoenix stands tall. They haven't put much damage into it at all. Griff goes up into the ultimate to shift some damage on the back line, but it's Layers with the execute that gets it done. Not a pin, but he is in the grave. Wolves finds Pitbull as well. And it's just going to be Soul Reaper and StRyDEr Prime left. Scratch that, just StRyDEr Prime as right side Phoenix goes down. And aggro, I think this is it.
I think so too. Good fight from Hype Unit. That no Phantom ever got picked up by One Night at LAN. Again, you don't have that many characters that really get decimated by the cage.
Right.
But you definitely feel it there. As soon as Mr. TGV uses that dash, he's caged. It's him and Pitbull in there together. And it's basically those two at a Walmart in Alaska. I mean, not that much exciting stuff happening.
No, unfortunately, just one lone Pitbull there. We didn't expect to be. A very strong game from Hype Unit, and I think to some extent what we would have expected from those two, from this team, right? A very strong team going against a team that has had some struggles here in One Night at LAN. But I think there's some things they can build on. StRyDEr Prime had some good moments.
Yeah.
They got to hold on to this early game better, rotate more people to defend these buffs.
Absolutely. I mean, they did it once. They rotate 4 over, and they were able to defend it. And it was often a 4-on-4 on that red buff, but Hype Unit just drafted really well to fight at that point. I mean, you have Isis, Odin, Freya, Achilles. Those are 4 gods that are really good at fighting you 4-on-4 at your red buff. I think if we see One Night at LAN draft with more early game in mind, they could have more success.
I think so too. A strong game 1 from Hype Unit. Can they close this one out with a game number 2? We'll find out in a moment. Before that, though, let's get it back to the desk.
Thanks a lot, guys. Great job on the call there. I know I am going to be saying dale, dale.
Yes, that cast was quite interesting about Pitbull for sure. I'm not going to try to make any more mention than that, except that the last pick, Isis, was way better than the Thor on the 9th pick.
Sure. Yeah. No. It was really tough there at the end of the day. Real just dominance coming out from Hype Unit. The jungle and the solo lane really combined to just create such a impenetrable fortress of domination. I mean, really, what are you going to do against Layers, who's having just his birthday in the jungle, and then on the right side, the Jormungandr, I mean, both the desk and the cast was lamenting the fact that, well, Odin didn't go to Wolves, and it didn't seem to matter. The squad did just as well, I think, watching Wolves on the Orm.
And Gryph had a phenomenal game on the Freya, being able to survive multiple team fights, went under a lot of stress. And that late game Freya was a big issue because everyone was an issue for One Night of LAN dealing with Hype Unit. They couldn't find the right angles or opportunities. A few kills onto Layers, but that was when he was already going really ham.
Oh, right there. Almost misses the execute. Does miss the execute, but still gets the kill. Pitbull over there, 0-4-1, unfortunately for him. But Wolves, like I said, 15-2 and 16 for the right side of the map combined there. Love to see it. Hype Unit came out and just played phenomenally.
The Achilles was really wonderful there. The Xbalanque, not so much for Nanapen, couldn't really handle some of that rotational prowess out of Layers. Whenever he gets going, the way he did from the very beginning, it's just almost impossible to stop him. There wasn't any objective control from One Night of LAN. You need to utilize your global pressure between the Xbalanque and the Thor, but when you get behind that early, there's not much coming back into it.
Not at all, unfortunately. oBoronic winds up doing a good job in the middle lane as well. Inbound and Gryph hold their own on the long side as well. So a great game coming out from a Hype Unit here as we see them just return to form. This is what we expect to see out of Hype Unit. I shouldn't say return to form. They've been doing it for the past couple of weeks, but I do mention that they did drop one to One Night at LAN. So with that in mind, they look forward to game 2.
It was them missing out on the set. They couldn't really set up their alarm clocks. Not the only team to have that kind of issue.
Sure.
We've been there. We've all been there. I've been there.